Hello, is this on? Is this working properly? I think it is this time. According to my setup, we are live. Okay. Whew. Hopefully, we don't have the same issue we had last time. I have no idea what happened with my reaction stream. I thought I thought that I was streaming my indie direct, but as it turns out, about a quarter of the way through the video, the stream just disconnected on me. So I had no choice but to delete my video, my excellent, wonderful reaction to the indie direct this morning, and so this afternoon. So I had, I had, I absolutely had to delete it. It was just not worth keeping up. And wait, where is it? I really should have these things brought up before I go live, but I guess we can do a brief run through and then give my overall impressions. I don't think I want to sit here and do the entire thing again. I mostly just wanted to come on and let you reassure everyone that I am okay. That I did stream yesterday, today. Let's see. So yeah, most of my general thoughts are that most of the hype announcements are in the beginning, the first half, and then the second half declines into shovelware nonsense. There are a couple of good games here, several in fact, several which I'm reasonably excited for. I don't think I'm over the moon about any of them, but there are quite a few that I'm interested in checking out, including this ninja game called Blue Fire. It's some kind of action platformer. This one looks really hype. Baldo, which seems to be this Zelda clone-ish. It's very DS Miyazaki-looking Zelda. So yeah, it might appeal to Wind Waker fans. I think I saw a boat in there somewhere. No, that was the Summer of Mara, which is another title. Never mind. Let's see. The Summer of Mara, which is some colorful farming simulator, which does look a lot better than Stardew Valley does. I'll give it that much. I am optimistic about it, but we'll have to see. Like that underwater segment is what has me hyped the most, actually, because I don't think we've seen a farming simulator with underwater mechanics. So that's I love like underwater mechanics in games. So we'll have to see how that pans out. Very hype. Sweary65 is putting out a game called The Good Life, which is making me very excited for actually going back and playing Deadly Premonition, which I really like. But The Good Life seems to be something really my speed. This is probably the best looking game here, actually, because I love the idea of being an animal. I love the mystery aspect, and I really liked what I played of Deadly Premonition. So I'm optimistic that this is going to be a really good game. We'll have to see what happens when I actually play. Oh no, it's him! It's him! Sean Murray. I should dislike this video for this alone. Uh, how many times did Sean Murray lie in this video? I'm still angry about No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky is a disaster, and now he's trying to sell us this terrible looking indie game. I don't know what it is. Some kind of like puzzle game with fire, or it looks generic. I don't care about it. I don't think anybody else cares about it. Without the Sony money funding it, No Man's Sky got, I don't see it gaining any traction. Like Hello Games aren't very good developers, and they're not really worthy of your attention. Let's see. So yeah, then we get a sizzle reel. I think Blair Witch isn't very good, going by what I've heard. Ghost of a Tale, Redwall the game. It's not literally a Redwall game, but It's giving me those vibes, man, and it makes me so hype. I love Redwall, and this one looks good too. That game company, wasn't that a Sony-owned indie company? Like they put out Journey and Flower. Journey, I think, is one of the most overhyped games on PlayStation 3. I haven't heard anyone bring it up in years, but when it first came out, it was like one of the most overhyped games in existence. It basically was like what God of War 2018 is now, where like Sony fanboys will declare it like one of the best things ever made. Ooh, one of the most beautiful artistic games ever made. Completely forgotten now. Nobody talks about Journey, and Sony doesn't care about it either, considering it's coming to, considering their next game is coming to Nintendo Switch. But it's it was ridiculous. I never actually played Journey, and I have no intention to. Nobody talks about it. Why would I? Why would I want to? That game company. Yeah, Skyrocket. Don't know anything about that. Is there anything else here that I was interested in? I think that's the highlights. I didn't want to sit through the entire video again, but oh, wait, I'm still live, right? I didn't go off again. Am I still live? Oh, hello everyone. Fantastic. We actually have a functioning stream tonight. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I know I don't stream at night usually because I'm usually busy, but I actually am still busy, but I just decided to come on tonight because I had time. I had time today, and I was like, well, I didn't stream this morning, so I might as well cover all the material today. Oh, by the way, there's going to be a PS5, a PlayStation 5 stream tomorrow, so I'm definitely going to be covering that live. I believe it's at noon from where I am. I'm gonna have to double check, but I'll be streaming about like at 20 minutes before it starts and like covering all the rumors and stuff like that, and then reviewing the show as a whole before that's the plan for tomorrow. So please stay tuned for that. I'm sure I'm going to have a lot to say about about PS5 and its amazing lineup of exclusive video games like Yakuza 0 and Persona 5R, games that you will never find on other platforms. That's definitely one of the things I wanted to talk about today. Persona 5R, because it's one of the most someone brought this up to me today. This actually there was a bunch of stuff I wanted to talk about when it came to this specific topic. Video game fanboys, specifically Sony fanboys or Nintendo haters, jumping the gun when it comes to their ridiculous sort of assertions about certain video game products. It's kind of baffling. I have a really good example here of what I'm talking about. Let's see here, because this really does show like the kind of mindset these people are in. Wait, I thought I liked it. Oh man, I can't. There we go. Okay, hang on. Let's bring up this tweet from IGN so you know what I'm talking about here. Maybe I should cut off the chat before talking about this. Hey everyone, wow, what's up? Are night streams back? I would prefer to stream at night, but at the moment, I don't feel comfortable doing so for a bunch of personal reasons. Once I make one specific lifestyle change, I should be able to do night streams regularly. It's just a matter of like making sure I'm in again, it's a personal problem, and I would prefer not to stream in the mornings because everybody wants to be on at night, but I just can't do it at the moment usually. So yes, it was a trash direct. It was an indie direct. It was not trash. It was reasonably good. I liked it a lot. Indie World's kind of meh. I mean, I hope Baldo at least has far better gameplay than terrible Ni no Kuni. It probably will. Sweary Games seems okay, maybe. No Sean Murray games. I agree. This direct was middle of the road. ARMS is great. Fuck you. Seeing Sean Murray turn me away from the game. Yeah, Sean Murray's face should turn anyone away from any game ever. It is a complete Disaster. Sean Murray is one of the most punchable faces in gaming. I don't know why people have let him get away with this shit. And I suppose now that people know who he is and what he's like, it's not like the last Campfire isn't getting the same kind of traction that No Man's Sky did. It's kind of interesting, right? Once they lost that PlayStation exclusivity, like, the game stopped being hyped. Like, once it stopped being, like, a big, new, upcoming PlayStation exclusive, like, it lost all of its momentum. And I do think it's a really strong indicator of what's going on here, in that, like, the gaming media are essentially shills for Sony, where they'll hype up and promote all of these Sony products for no reason other than the fact that they're on Sony. On PlayStation, we keep seeing this again and again and again with mediocre games like Horizon Zero Dawn, like God of War 2018, like, I don't want to say Persona 5 is bad, but Persona 5R is getting like 100 Metacritic scores from critics. Like, I don't see a lot of people really going after the fact that this is a re-release of an old game, a 3-year-old game. Here's the difference. Here's what's going on here. Nintendo is releasing Breath of the Wild 2 in a year or so, right? They are developing a completely new game with a lot of the new features and mechanics and the same world map of the original, but it is a new game. And Persona 5R is a re-release of Persona 5 with additional content. Like, they came out around the same time, and Nintendo is doing more with Breath of the Wild than Atlus is doing with Persona 5. In fact, Nintendo is doing more than Atlus, period. Like, name one game that Atlus has released in, like, 3 years, the past 3 years. Like, I can't name jack shit. They have become completely irrelevant. Like, Persona 5 sold reasonably well, right? And it got a ton of hype, but at the expense of, well, where are the other games? It's so funny how people can spend, like, the Wii U years, or like that early Switch launch period, even now, I think, like, insisting that, like, where are the Switch games? Where are the Nintendo Directs? Where are the games? And then Atlus, Square Enix, Capcom, Konami. Like, no one is bringing up their sheer lack of content. Like, nobody is talking about, like, how these companies can't release games at a reasonable pace at all. It's laughable. Like, CD Projekt Red, their last real game was Witcher 3 back in 2015, and that was kind of a disaster. That was a disaster years ago, right? Super overrated game, and they haven't put out anything since. And I don't think Cyberpunk 2077 is really going to compete very well, or is really going to measure up very well, especially with these new consoles on the horizon. It might get overshadowed, actually. We'll have to see how that turns out. We'll have to see how this situation escalates in general. I'm just oof. So yeah, my point is that, like, Nintendo is held to this ridiculous standard that other companies are not held to. Like, I had people bitching at me about, like, how many people have complained about Switch ports, and then turned around and, like, started hyping up, like, Persona 5R's Metacritic score. Their highest scoring game on PS4 is a port. That really says a lot about the current state of the PlayStation library, where they have no new games to play. And here's a really good example of PlayStation fans, sort of not necessarily PlayStation fans, Nintendo haters jumping the gun and making claims that simply don't mesh well with reality. Highest grossing video game movie. Sonic the Hedgehog raced past 145 million at the domestic box office, officially beating out Detective Pikachu's 144 million US haul. Wow, $1 million. That's so much in film terms. And now we have clarification that Detective Pikachu did outstrip Sonic by a considerable amount in the global market, like far outstripping this. So we had a bunch of people when this piece of shit movie first came out, declaring like Sonic the Hedgehog the movie to be the best video game movie of all time, right? The most popular, the most successful, the highest grossing, and immediately normal people, normies, people who are following this were like, well, what about Detective Pikachu? And they immediately just turned around and were like, oh, Detective Pikachu's garbage. Sonic the Hedgehog was way better. It far outdid Detective Pikachu. And that turns out that's not the case. Now, people are making excuses for it. Like, I'm seeing people like blame the situation in China. I'm seeing people like make excuses for this. But at the end of the day, like, Detective Pikachu had its hurdles to overcome too. Like, it had to compete with the most successful movie of all time, Avengers Endgame, and it still outstripped Sonic when it was the only movie out, essentially, at a really poor time period after all that bad PR. Like, Sonic, the only reason Sonic the Hedgehog, the movie, did well was because of 30-year-old boomers who are nostalgic for the days where they were trying to attack Nintendo, where they were trying to hate on Nintendo fans, where they were trying to pretend that Sonic was cool and Sonic was a good video game franchise, and that sort of takes them back to the days when they could do that without being laughed at. That's the reality of the success of the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. It's no different than the Transformers movies. Like, it wasn't a good movie. It was just a licensed product aimed at a certain demographic that was nostalgic for this specific brand. In fact, I would say that this is probably the last major success, relative success, that Sonic is ever going to have, because people aren't going to like the sequels. They're either going to milk it to death or they're not going to make any. And they're certainly not going to make new games. They're not going to make new TV shows. They're not going to make any any new comics. Like, Sonic has basically burnt through every avenue that it could possibly be. Like, for years, the only reason this thing has been so popular was because of nostalgia, right? And now we've sort of reached that point where older people who grew up with the brand will go to see movies about it, right? Short, hour and a half long movies about it. But it's probably not winning over new fans. Like, oh, you see Tails in this movie. Oh, that's so hype. It's nowhere near, clearly nowhere near, as good as what Detective Pikachu did, in which it flawlessly implemented Pokemon into this live-action setting in a reasonably adequate fashion. Like, it's not the best movie ever. Like, I had problems with Detective Pikachu, but Detective Pikachu actually felt like it took the IP and did something fun and creative with it. Like, Sonic the Hedgehog didn't do shit. Like, in the end, I decided I didn't even want to see it because I saw through the hype. It reminded me a lot of, like, the hype that, like, God of War 2018 got, and it's just a bunch of Sonic fanboys coming together trying to hype up their favorite overrated video game mascot. It is a complete joke. And speaking of complete jokes, wait, I think let's see. Speaking of a complete joke, let's talk a little bit more about upcoming Sony exclusive, the upcoming disaster that is The Last of Us Part 2. Now, I say this is a disaster for a very, very clear reason. Wow, I can't even look at that without laughing. Holy shit. Remember when the animations were going to be, like, amazing and, like, god tier? Like, look at this again. Hang on. I wish I could loop it. Hang on. Oops. No, wait, shit. Okay. And look at this. Look at this. Oh no, that's not the video. That's not the game. That's the loading. Wait, what? Oh shit. Hang on. Whoop. Did you see that? Look at that unrealistic way in which the snow bends. Like, this is a game that's being overhyped for its animations and its visual quality. And looking at this, looking at this high-end PS4 game, it honestly doesn't look any different than the same game, the first game on the PS3. Like, it really doesn't look any better. And it's kind of interesting the kind of shit that, like, Naughty Dog will say to hype up their video game product. The Last of Us Part 2, Ellie is more agile in combat and when exploring the world, allowing us to introduce new verticality and discoverable areas to environment as you climb and jump over obstacles. And the way this is worded, whoa! I've never seen a character in a video game jump before. Like, this is it. Like, this is what they're hyping up. You can jump. They added a jump button. Like, that is going to make The Last of Us Part 2 a completely new, fresh experience. They added a jump button where you can climb onto stuff. This doesn't even look as good as something like a Devil's Third, where it's very fluid and intuitive. Was that an enemy back there? Who'd like, is this going to have the same problem that the original did with like the terrible, terrible enemy AI? Oh, that might be a companion. It didn't look like an enemy. You can tell by the way they move, by the way. Like, it's hilarious how artificial these movements are, because you can tell an enemy from a person, an ally, really easily, just simply by the way they move, right? It's going to be like that. And look at these comments. Base, Bear, and Black, like, exposing them. So basically nothing new or innovative at all. Just like Mario games. Yeah. Tell me again, what do Super Mario Odyssey, Super Mario 3D World, Super Mario Galaxy, and Super Mario Sunshine have in common? Right? You run and jump, but you have like all these different mechanics and all these different levels, like all these different design philosophies. The Last of Us, like Super Mario, is an example of how you take a core video game mechanic and build on it like endlessly to the point where like you genuinely feel like they're never ever going to run out of new ideas. Odyssey in particular was really good at feeling fresh and new. Mario definitely has been more groundbreaking than The Last of Us. Yeah, years ago. Been the same for years now, lol. What? How pathetic are these people? We're gonna go after Mario. That snow particle effect. Oof, the animations look awful. I'm sure they fixed it. Yeah, I'm sure they did. Fix that horrible snow deformation, please. Yeah, people are pointing this out. Let's see. Yeah, so it's just a bunch of empty hype. Like, people are just hyping up this game because, it's Naughty Dog. It's The Last of Us. It's a PlayStation exclusive. It's no... It's not, like... They were doing this last time, too. Like, they were doing this months ago. Like, this is their big new mechanic. Like, jumping and climbing onto shit. Like, really? Like, they don't have, like... Oof. And I wonder if this game is going to get delayed again, considering the world situation with Captain Trips. Whoa, never seen a character in a video game jump before. Yep, alright, so... Oof, so that's the... okay. Ooh, hey everyone, wow. Okay, let's get caught up on the chat before moving on. I probably should be going somewhat soon. Yeah. Let's see... Your face makes every woman cringe. Oh, yeah, if cringe you mean, never mind. I'm not gonna say what was on my mind. Funny because you have a punchable face too, sure. Video game lover, the Direct was fine. No matter how much better the Xbox Series X and Switch and its sequel will be compared to PS5, the console will still be showered in praise. Yeah, that's already happening. You're already seeing people, like, make these weird declarations like, PS5, it's the best piece of hardware we've seen in years. Funny how that always happens for PlayStation, and yet Nintendo consoles, including the Switch, are met with extreme skepticism. Like, for no reason. Like, nobody in the media gets hyped about new Nintendo consoles, which is how, like, you get, like, the Wii U situation, in which they, like, shit all over this thing for no reason. Like, the Wii U, legit, day one, had more games than the PS4 has had in its entire lifespan. Like, it's just... Oof. Sony is slipping. Media heads some shilling butts. Just like Ultra Sun and Moon. just like Pokemon Black 2. Pokemon Black 2 is a real sequel. So it's fine when Nintendo does it, but Sony, no. People were not happy with Ultra Sun and Moon. People were actually complaining about that. Like, people keep trying to bring this back to Nintendo, but Nintendo doesn't really stick with those things if they do them. Nintendo as fans will praise bad. Wait, I'm sure if you played the Ultras instead of the regular versions, you would like the Ultra better. I do own Ultra Sun, but I still need to play it. The plan right now is I'm going to get like a year's worth of Pokemon Home, and then I'm going to play through all the Pokemon games and try to get all the Pokemon on that service. That's the plan for now. So I am going to go through Ultra Sun eventually. Atlas really sucks when it comes to releasing games in HD development. Slow it down. I bet 4K will make their releases even slower. Yeah, that's another thing I wanted to bring up. The game release schedule is going to slow to a crawl, and it kind of already has. Like, we've seen that, like, it's been 5 years since Witcher 3. It's been, like, 7 years since The Last of Us Part 1. It's been, like... When did Destiny come out? Like, Destiny 1? Like, 2014, right? I want to say it was 2014. 6 years since Destiny 1 came out. These games, they take too long to make. Like, when you get right down to it, they're not efficient. They're expensive. They're not all that fun when they come out. They have to like pander to the widest possible demographic. Like, there's all these problems with the approach these guys have to game development, and no one seems to want to admit them. It's just, it's embarrassing. Most Nintendo fans are very meek online. Yeah, I have noticed that. I do think it's the reason why more people aren't really addressing the Sony problem, because nobody wants to, like, waste their time going to war over, like, a video game console. Like, literally declaring a console war like I have. But, yeah. I do think it's primarily because of the insecurity of the PlayStation fanboys, because when you get right down to it, like, when you take away the posturing, when you take away, like, the bragging about sales, bragging about their consoles, bragging about, like, their third-party development, when you take away all of that, like, what do they have, really? Like, it doesn't feel like they really enjoy their video games very much, because if they did, they wouldn't be saying shit like, oh, PS4 is just as good as PS2. Like, no, it clearly isn't, but, nobody's really... You can't say that because it makes Sony look bad, and it makes Nintendo look good, and you can't have that under any circumstance. It really feels like every third party is not doing much. If anything, just doing enough to avoid extinction for the foreseeable future. Yeah, my assumption is that they're going to try and make a lot of exciting announcements for PS5 and Xbox One 2 to try and keep them relevant. Let's see. You can't be a Nintendo fan and a Sony apologist. I liked it because it did the Sonic character well. But there are... Wait. Hang on. Sony is the Stanley Kubrick of gaming? Oh, no. Oh, no. People would say that unironically. I say the only thing Sonic did wrong was having powerful fur... Let's see. They're all Mario games. Let's see. I can hear Harman cry. Spider-Man and Knock? Ooh... Yeah, I guarantee you Spider-Man is coming to PC. There is no doubt in my mind that Spider-Man will be coming to PC. I suspect it might be next, actually. God of War after that. Let's see. Conduit 3. Yeah, I would love a Conduit 3. Actually, I never actually played the first two. Alright, so... how obsessed can you get? How obsessed can you get? Holy shit. Okay. So let's see. So yeah, a big problem I've been noticing in the... ever since I started using Twitter more, using Twitter to follow more people, more YouTubers, because I used to not do that. Like, I used to just follow people I was interested in, and because I don't care about online communities at all, I wasn't following anyone. But in order to grow my audience, I started, like, following a bunch of people, and I just kept coming across these crazy hot takes, right? I can't just bring them up on a dime like this. But of course you have this motherfucker who's the probably the biggest fanboy I've seen in like a long time. Like the crunch versus no crunch. Like this guy. Um, like the Sony fanboy hot takes I've heard. Wait, why does this guy hate Animal Crossing so much? Okay, so yeah, you keep seeing these incredible hot takes. Regarding Sony fanboys and their Sony PlayStation and their superiority over other consoles. They really are proving themselves to be the worst video game fan base. Um, I just need to find an example. There's so much shit here. Let's see. I think I liked something. I retweeted something at least. Hang on. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Ori got a better platforming and level design than any of them boring basic Mario games y'all be hyping, but we not ready to talk about that yet. You, yeah, oof, the delusion. 2D Mario games aren't Metroidvanias though. Yeah, they're completely different genres. Yeah, it's things like that, like these weird out there sort of claims about like Nintendo. Like I'm seeing a lot of people complain about Mario more so than usual. Uh, all this weird complaint. I just oof. Weird, weird. All these weird statements, like these weird people coming together, coming together, and just sort of making these weird ass complaints about Nintendo and their IPs. It's just unbelievable. Let's see. All right, so I think that's everything I wanted to talk about tonight. Let's see, The Last of Us. Let's see, is there anything else The Last of Us related? I have a little bit more time. I guess I could just talk to you guys about whatever. Let's see, unless I can find something. Uh, I have no idea what to. I have no idea what to look for. Oof. I guess we can do 4chan real quick. Let's see if we can find a topic. Let's see. Animal Crossing, physical or digital. I am getting Animal Crossing physical. That is for sure. I'm kind of regretting that though. Like I actually ordered food today because I didn't want to go out for certain reasons, and the guy comes up to my house wearing a mask, and I'm just like, it's getting really bad, really bad. Like you guys have no idea, or maybe you probably do, but holy shit, like, ugh. Bum 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 bum. Pre-order is canceled. Let's see. Um, let's see. That's definitely something. There have been so many major Sony disasters in the past couple of years, like The Last Guardian, Shenmue 3, Days Gone. I would say qualifies. Like, why are these people still Death Stranding? Sony has had way more failures than they've had successes. Like, people will talk about like Final Fantasy VII all they want, right? But that was 20 years ago, over 20 years ago. Like, why are you still like acting like Nintendo ever did anything wrong? Like, it's clearly not the case at this point. Like, following Square Enix's like bankruptcy, following their Squaresoft's bankruptcy, the merger with Enix, like everything that's happened since then, all the ways these other companies have fucked you over, destroyed all these classic IPs. you're still going to sit here and pretend that like Nintendo is the bad guy. It's just it's unreal. And you're going to still sit here sending me angry tweets about like how Arms is not a very good fighting game, and like try to convince me that the best fighting game of the yeah, probably the decade, I would say. I can't think of anything released in the new tens that's better than Arms. I mean, I really like Mortal Kombat 9, but I do think Arms is better. Yeah, I think it's better than Smash. I can't think of anything that's better than Arms. Arms is still my favorite new IP on Switch for a reason. It's a really, really good fighting game. It's one of the games I actually want to take off my shelf and play again as soon as I get through this, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon and all these other games I have to get through. I am getting through my backlog. I hope I can get through it all soon, so we'll see. All right. Uh-oh, it's Emily Rogers! It's Emily Rogers! My overall expectations for Switch software this year: good year to be a plumber, solid year to be an RPG fan, instant year to replay old games. Wait, decent year for more casual games. AC equals casual. Why do you present yourself as a video game analyst? Like, why do you pretend that you know what you're talking about? Like, you clearly don't. Like, people listen to you because, like, oh, it's Emily Rogers. She has all the hot leaks. It's ridiculous. It really is ridiculous. It's like, Nintendo Switch. It's going to get a Mario game. Ooh, so deep, so insightful. And she mentions Xenoblade positively, so fuck her. That might actually be my big rant for the foreseeable future, is just going on and on about Xenoblade, because I think I deleted the videos I made talking in depth about Xenoblade's plot and why it was ridiculous, and I kind of regret that, because I kept making gaming content when I was kind of expecting I wouldn't, but oop. Yeah, I absolutely loathe Xenoblade and its fans. Like, Xenoblade fans are the absolute worst. They are like up there. Yeah, I was just complaining about Smash fans. I'm complaining about like all of these people, but like I think Xenoblade fans are the most elitist of the Nintendo fan bases right now, because they have this like weird mindset that like Xenoblade is some like artistic high point for like RPGs as a whole, and is like one of the best RPG series that Nintendo has put out, when like I, an intellectual, am just like, Fire Emblem is better, Mario and Luigi is better, Paper Mario is better, Final Fantasy is better. It's just, the last story is better. Like, there are just, Xenoblade is not special. There's nothing about it that makes it good. Like, the discussion around Xenoblade is basically revolves around Xenoblade 2 is basically about how much you want to fuck the characters. Like, that's it. Like, that's all the appeal Xenoblade 2 has. It's not a very good RPG, is what I'm getting at. Like, it doesn't have a good story. It doesn't have a good setting. It doesn't have, like, it's not fun to play. The combat is atrocious. It's just, I'm getting really sick of seeing Xenoblade re-released and hyped up every year. So like what? Xenoblade Chronicles X was one of the most hyped up, overhyped games on Wii U, when it was probably like low tier overall, like compared to like some of the other stuff on there. Like, I will always say Tokyo Mirage Sessions was way better than Xenoblade Chronicles X. Xenoblade Chronicles X was not shit, okay? It's still the best Xenoblade game, but that's really not saying very much. The original is just pure garbage, and like 2 I couldn't even finish. 2 should go in the trash. Like, 2 is just pure garbage. And now, look, they released the original on Wii, they re-released it on Wii U, they re-released it on 3DS, and now they're re-releasing a definitive edition on Switch. Why? Stop releasing Xenoblade all the time. It's like, it's not that good. Like, come on. Remember back in like the 2000s when 2010 when this game first came out, where people were like insisting that like, oh, you got to get this game now. You have to buy this so you can experience this masterpiece. And no, I'll stick with my Baten Kaido's Origins. Thank you. I'll stick with my Bravely Default. I play good RPGs. Thank you very much. I'm not a Nintendo shill. I don't shill for like, I don't like talk about Nintendo. I don't praise them so highly because like, just because they're Nintendo. It's because they legitimately usually put out really good games. And Xenoblade is not it. Like, Xenoblade is not what I became a Nintendo fan for. And I will always gladly point out that fact. Xenoblade is pure trash, the worst ongoing Nintendo franchise right now by a long shot. I can't think of anything I dislike more than Xenoblade Chronicles. There are individual games I think I dislike, like Yoshi's New Island, like maybe Chibi Robo Ziplash, maybe Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival, stuff like that. But those are like low budget games from lousy development teams. This is something else. Like, this is like a big budget RPG that's garnered this really ridiculous obsessive fan base that really should not be held to the degree it is. Because like Breath of the Wild did outdo Xenoblade Chronicles X. It was actually a functional video game. Breath of the Wild was amazing. Something about the way this bitch words her tweets irks me. Kill yourself. Rare blows. Riva Pinata and Battletoads Arcade are the only games remotely playable. Yeah, replay. Let's see. 360 emulation on the Switch. Yeah. They will replace them with Rare's other games. Yeah, I'm just, oof. Where are people getting this Rare replay thing? I'm sure it's gonna happen eventually, and it's gonna be great. But with the exclusive Nintendo content, but we'll have to see how this turns out. All right, I think that's everything. I gotta get going. Ooh. Resident Evil 3 Remake comes with Resistance because it will be half as long as Resident Evil 2. Yep, it's going to be like 5 hours. Yep. All right. So the cracks. Yeah, the cracks are starting to show. Oh boy! After all the hype that Resident Evil 2 Remake got, 3 is going to. Ooh, yeah, that's not a good sign. Oops. All right. So we'll have to see how this. We'll have to see how this ends up. That is something like I do notice. Like when they start remaking these games that aren't as popular, they're not going to do as well, and they're going to have the same budget as like the truly iconic video games. Like imagine if they tried remaking like Final Fantasy VIII, like the way they did Final Fantasy VII. Like they would fail. Like they would fail hard. Like nobody would be excited about that. Like Final Fantasy VII, the only reason our people are talking about it is because of it's like LOL fuck Nintendo legacy. Like aside from that, like Final Fantasy VIII wouldn't have like the same sort of, because of that, Final Fantasy VIII would not have the same kind of momentum that Remake has, especially since like people are going to be very, very wary about another remake after 7 is over and done with. Assuming 7 does ever end, which is it's very possible that it might be canceled, going by how Final Fantasy 15 and its episodic structure was dealt with. Oh, by the way, holy shit! Like, we need to point this out because this is a massive like. I had no idea this was a thing. Final Fantasy 15 has Google Stadia feature. Exclusive Google Stadia features. Final Fantasy 15 has mini games that are available only on Google Stadia. Square Enix seriously tried to incentivize people to get the Google Stadia version of this game by giving the Stadia exclusive content. Like, this goes into exactly what I was talking about when it comes to like Switch and like these developers and their bias towards it. Like, they are willing to support Stadia, a complete train wreck of a platform, over Nintendo. Like, we haven't gotten Final Fantasy 15 yet, even though there is no reason for it not to happen. It's just... And yet they're giving Google Stadia exclusive features. Like, developers really wanted Google Stadia, something like Google Stadia, to take off so they can get rid of physical media and get rid of people buying used games and that sort of thing. But they're not there yet. And, yeah. It's unbelievable. All right, so that is everything I wanted to cover today. Yep, I got to get going. Oh, hey, everyone. I'll get up in the chat real quick, and then I will be tuning out for the night. Thank you all for tuning in. Let me see. Let me check the... Boo, boo, boo. Yep, I've got to get going. So I would love to keep streaming and talking about stuff with you. I would love to have someone on, actually. Yeah, definitely. I definitely do think my audience is primarily on at night, but unfortunately, I don't have the time to stream every night. Unfortunately, that's kind of disappointing. So yeah, please consider checking out my books on Amazon. Let's see. The next one, Rabbit Hole, is coming soon. I'm really, really looking forward to that. I was working on it like a while ago, and I was just like, yeah, it's turning really, really well. I'm really, really excited. All right, so very, very hyped for that. All right, so we had so many tailor-made games for its system from Nintendo and others. Switch is lacking in that department, sadly. Industry change is hurting things. Yeah, I do agree. Switch is, I do think Switch is not as good as Wii U or Wii. It's so weird to me that people will declare Switch to be one of the best video game consoles, one of the best Nintendo consoles in years, when I consider it like one of the weaker ones. I do think Wii U was better. I do think Wii was better. I do think 3DS was better. There are standout titles on Switch. I do enjoy mine a lot, actually. But, I mean, the main reason I play mine is because it's better than the other consoles, other current platforms. I do think Wii U is better. Wii was better. It's better than GameCube, though. I mean, I like the Switch a lot, but I think there's a lot of room for improvement in the software department. You're a fanboy too. Yes, you are. Ori is nowhere near as smooth and fine-tuned with new mechanics as Super Mario. Yeah, shut the shame off. I remember back in 2013, $500 was way too much for a console, and the reason to get a PS4 was for power. Hey, what's up? Sony fanboys jumped on Switch too, and sadly dumbed down some of the Nintendo audience and commentary. When Snowy started warring with PC guys, the narrative changed to games over hardware. Yeah. No one should really want Golden Sun if it's like the second game. Let's see. Many games today don't have proper physical releases. Not a great sign for the industry. Things will become more niche, I think. Yeah, I think what's going to happen is that like some kind of gaming subscription service will become a thing, and you'll be able to download certain games from developers. It'll be a download. It won't be a streaming service. Because that's just stupid. But this old lady, that's such a nothing burger of a tweet. Like, wait, what are you talking about? Stop it. Xenoblade sucks. Pandora's Tower was better. Xenoblade sucks, but it's Nintendo. Yeah. I was just ranting about Xenoblade Chronicles. Yep. Xenoblade. Tokyo Mirage Sessions. Let's see. No, Pokemon Sword is really, really good. I'm actually going to be making a video about that, actually, because it does do a lot of things. It really does feel like it evolved the formula in a interesting way. I think the post game is a little bit different than what we've seen in the past. Like going around and like understanding how the wild area works is a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying that. So Sword is really good. JRPGs fell off. Yeah, definitely on PlayStation. Xenoblade had a good story. Benkaios and Xenoblade was made. Yeah. Let's see. Google always wins. All right. So that's everything. Yeah, I got to be going. So thank you all for tuning in. Please like, comment, subscribe. I will see you all next time. Check out my books. Tomorrow we will be checking out the PS5 stream. So please look forward to that. I will see you all then. Until next time. Live reaction to the